Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. How are you today? Good. Very good. Very good. I have a stool with water. There it is. And so we'll get right to it. So I just want to take a moment to thank Mr. Earl. Because you see, I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for him. Some of you have heard me talk about Mr. Earl. He was my high school guidance counselor. And suffice to say, he was right out of central casting. Round face, beady eyes, glasses, red freckles, crew cut. So I'll never forget the day I walked into his office and he said to me, "Julie, you're too stupid to go to college. You should consider another path." Talk about being put back on your heels. And get this, I thanked him as I walked out. So for every degree I received, my BA and MS from USC and my doctorate from Seattle University, thank you. He got an invitation. So I say, thank you, Mr. Earl. He really was my curious source for power, passion, and wisdom. So how do you access your passion, your power, and your wisdom? How does it show up in your lives on a daily basis? Because you see, being passionate, walking in to your power, and acknowledging your wisdom is an inside job. Happens right in here and here. This conference has been called Passion, Power, and Wisdom. Really quite aspirational ideas, aren't they, when you think about it? So, when you think about these three, actually there's going to be a fourth word, sometimes people aren't feeling very passionate, or you don't have much wisdom to share right now, or you're not feeling like you have any personal power. Because I know I did it, once upon a time we made a decision about what those words meant to us and acted accordingly. So what I would like you to do is expand the meaning of those words today and look at it a little different, because I want to challenge your assumptions of those words. But before we go much further, there is a fourth element, and that's vision. It's important for our life journey, is it not, to have one? So you have a handout there and a card. You're going to be using both. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. That's why I have my little cheat sheet here. And don't worry about getting them all, because Danielle said I can post them on the portal, and she will tell you how that goes. Passion. Everybody talks about it, right? Got to find passion, got to live passionately, got to have passion. Well, yeah, I agree with that. But it's kind of become like a cliche. Everybody's saying it, right? Got to have it. Well, what does that mean? Well, I think passion really means you doing your best work with your talents and gifts and feeling fulfilled and successful from that, because the byproduct is leading a meaningful life. I think that actually Mark Twain said it best. He said there are two important days in your life: the day you were born and the day you find out why. Your past is fixed. Your future is ahead of you. And I really encourage you to pursue what is meaningful to you, not what is expedient. I was talking with a buddy of mine. You know how you do the breakfast, how you doing, what are you doing, right? So anyway, we were talking, well, she's back in school. Now this is very interesting, because this is a gal in mid-career, very successful. She worked at Russell Investments. Now she's at a company that some former Microsofties started. And she's, the head auditor, senior manager, runs a team, the whole bit. So I said, well, what are you doing now? She said, I'm back in school. Really? She says, yeah. She says, Julie, I'm very good at what I do, but it's not my passion. This box I'm in with these columns of numbers, that isn't what I want to do anymore. I want to make an impact on the company and on the people that work there. So she's back at school getting her organizational development degree. So there's a gal, mid-career, who found her passion. Because finding it will lead you down the path of where you're using your talents and your strength. You will make an amazing mark on the universe if you do that. I'm thrilled. I'm living my passion, but it was only through happenstance and circumstance that I ended up doing what I did, because when I graduated from USC, my goal was to be the best darn teacher I could be. So there I was, Claremont High School, teaching English, right? And a runner came from the office with a note. The principal wanted to see me. Okay, well, if you're a firstborn child, who are you? Show me your firstborns. We know we're in trouble, right? No question. We are in trouble, right? Gasping for breath, knees shaking. You thirdborns in the room, you're the ones behind the door, giggling at us while we're just terrified. Anyway, he really surprised me. He said, he saw something I didn't recognize. He said, I want you to leave the classroom. I said, hallelujah, no more English papers. But anyway, and he said, I want you to be a district trainer and teach teachers and help them along. I said, okay, great. Well, what was amazing was he opened the door just a bit, and I peeked through it. He recognized something I didn't even see. And then I realized I really was born to teach, to inspire, to help others, to equip people to have the most successful lives and careers they possibly can. So here I am today, having started Success Factors 10 years ago, with having that as my passion. So I have some questions for you that I want you to think about. So I wrote them down so I could remember them. And that is, what are you really good at? What makes you feel alive? Do you ever get in the flow where time just passes and you don't realize it? Are you choosing the work that matches your talents? Do you care about the progress of your career? Are you doing what you love? So, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down on that piece of paper, what are you passionate about? Are you living it? I'll give you just a second to write that down. One of the things about finding your passion, and people say to me, I don't know what it is. I'm just doing my job. I get up every day. But I would tell you, one of the tips is to ask yourself when you're doing something well, if you feel successful in that. And also watch for other people's response to you when you're doing something well, because that's the nugget of where you're going to find it. And you know what? Passion isn't found, it's made. It's through self-discovery that you get there. So, think about what you're doing with your passion. Because what you want to do is discover the why. Power. Boy, that's out in everybody's mind, isn't it? It's about women's empowerment. That's all the talk now. Finding our voices, which Jamie spoke to so eloquently. But you know, power sometimes I think people misinterpret. It isn't about smugness, ego, hubris, having the stage, being dominant. It isn't about that. It's all about inner assurance, self-confidence, trustworthiness, reliability. It's being able to feel very secure in what you have done and what you have achieved. My company was working with a young woman. Her American name was Mary from China, and she was a child prodigy in piano. She traveled all over her country giving piano recitals. Her father was in the military, which gave him some influence. So when she graduated from high school, now just imagine this, she graduated from high school and her father says to her, now Mary, do you want to go to college? Oh yes, Father, I want to go to college. She says, great, and handed her a plane ticket and the acceptance letter to a college in the Northwest. Yeah, can you imagine? No notice, nothing. Here it is, get on the plane, and she went. So she went to a liberal arts school in Oregon, graduated, got her master's with a special emphasis in marketing, and got a job in Seattle where she worked with Chinese and American businesses helping with their relations. Well, her issue was she didn't feel powerful. She was the youngest woman on the team, and when she went to board meetings, which were mostly men, she was pretty much ignored, pretty disrespected. So what we talked about was, what is your personal power? Where are your talents that you can express correctly? Because I said, girl, you got to walk in there like you own the place. You got to dress so professionally, and you got to sit by the power players and ask the right questions. Show your power, your talent, your passion. Well, she did, and she mustered up enough courage to quit and landed a job where her power and her passion were recognized. So this young woman went from someone that couldn't look you in the eye and giggled when she was embarrassed to owning it. What's your personal power? Write yourself a note. Here's some thoughts for you. Are you clear and confident about your skill sets? Do you know yourself and how you interact with the world? What would you say is your source of personal power? And when do you feel powerful? Again, this is an inside job, doing that inventory, thinking about where is that so that you can feel very secure. Wisdom, boy, did that come off as a cliche. Everybody says, oh, with age comes wisdom. I don't think you have to be 101 to have wisdom. I think Aristotle said it very wonderfully when he said that the knowledge of self is the beginning of all wisdom. So what is wisdom? Well, it's experience and good judgment. It's common sense, right? It's being able to discern what is true, what is right. It's being able to know your skill sets so that you can empower others as well. I was interviewing for my book, which was really fun, Secrets of Self-Starter, and I was interviewing this young man, Jared, an amazing guy. This is a guy who found out what it meant to impact himself and others' lives. So his story is that he got out of the Air Force Academy and he, completed his obligation and got a job on the East Coast in consulting and loved the job, but he had seen this documentary on human trafficking. Now imagine this. It's just stunning. 2 to 4 million women and young children every year are sold into prostitution. Girls are going for as little as $10. He couldn't give it up, this tragedy of human trafficking. So he talked about it constantly. When I get rich, I'm going to do something about it. When I get old, I'll do something about it. And his boss said to him, shut up or put up. Do something about it now. So with that, he got on the internet, got his buddy, they maxed out their credit cards, and flew to Cambodia to meet Somali Mom. And Somali Mom was a victim herself, and she had started a shelter to help these children and women, start a new life. So he talked to them, he went on kidnapping raids, if you can believe it, to rescue these children and women away from these human traffickers. So at the end of his stay, he said, now what can I do for you? She says, well, I want to start a foundation in the United States. Can you help me with that? Sure, I'll raise $1 million for you. Right? So he gets in the plane with his buddy, couple shots of sake. After he said, I don't believe what I did, but let's have it at the United Nations. So with fearlessness, audacity, right, naivete, he put on the fundraiser at the United Nations. He didn't raise the $1 million, though, right? He raised $2 million. And he got luminaries on the board, including himself. So here's a young man that used his passion with some vision and wisdom to change others' lives. And so what is he doing now? He's gone to law school. He's helping others achieve their dreams. So here's a young man, passion, power, wisdom all together. The last one is vision. And vision, I think, is the hardest for people. It seems like, oh, I don't have a vision, I don't know where I'm going, oh, it's not clear, I don't see it, I can't find it. Well, I will challenge you and say, I don't think Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or Oprah Winfrey or Debbie Fields had all the bells and whistles, but they had something that they knew they could anticipate was coming if they just walked that way. The vision would start to unfold and the doors would start to open. So I encourage you to listen to that little whisper in your head that's possibly saying, what if? Take it out, look at it, listen to it, see what it is. I think we often think that we have to be hit on the head with, what is my purpose and why am I here? When it just may be the inkling of it. I was my final quarter in my doctoral program at Seattle U, and the speaker came and she said, now what I want you to do is I want you to draw a picture of your perfect job. What does it look like? So I drew a house and stick ladies and offices and conference rooms and a training room. And so we were asked to share it, the drawing. I held it up. I burst into tears. And I said to myself, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I said, oh, well, never mind. I was a single mother at the time with 2 little guys working full time. I said, I'm just tired. Well, what I realized was, it was the vision my father had for me. I was fulfilling his vision of being a school superintendent. I lasted 3 years. I was out of there, right? Because I realized that wasn't my vision for my life. That isn't what I was supposed to be doing. And so with that, I left, and I decided it was helping people reach their potential, and I've heard that mentioned tonight. So I started Business Writing That Counts. It's a 30-year-old company now, and what I do is help people be better communicators. Because if you can write, you'll advance in your career. You can't write, you won't get promoted. Well, so that went along for a while, and then another whisper came, and I said, what if I could do something, leverage all I've learned about successful people? What if I could do something with that? And so I started Success Factors. And what it really is about is closing the gap for you between your vision and really answering the question that Mark Twain asked you, why was I born? What is my purpose? So, vision is harder. So what I've done, I've split it 2 ways, and then I'm asking you a series of questions that go internal, thinking about yourself, doing that inventory, and external. So let me read you some of these questions. Okay, here we go. What are the highest qualities of how you are at your core? What are your limiting beliefs, and what are you doing? What habits are you acquiring to fight that off, to fight off those limiting beliefs? Because I say enough already. You've got it all that you need to be successful and have the life you want. You have it all now. Okay, what action steps will you take, or what habit will you acquire? What impact do you want to make with your time on this earth? What are you doing now to get there? So that's the inward. Externally, think about this. Where are you going? What is the mental picture you want of yourself and to become. Do you want to start a business? Do you want to expand your business? Do you want to be healthier? Do you want to be wealthier? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Maybe you want to go back to school. Maybe you want to move to a new city. Maybe you want to get divorced. Maybe you want to get married. You got to do one of those, right? But if you heard in each of the questions I've asked you, it's about taking the next step towards your beliefs in yourself and what you want to do. So you got to line the two to get there. One of the things I do to keep myself accountable, I started a group. I bet you've heard of it. It's in the Valley. Big Thinking Women. Any of you heard of that group? It's great. We started one in Seattle, and we get together every 6 weeks, right? Business women, business owners, and chat about what is our vision, what are our dreams, how are we going to get there. It's marvelous. It's a wonderful support network for me, and they have been really instrumental in helping me move along in my career and with my dreams. So, in closing, you have that little card, and what I want you to do is think about what is it that you are willing to commit to? What are you willing to do next? And I have it folded so you can put it on your desk and stare at it every day. Fill that out. My job today was to inspire you. Bottom line is you inspire me. The fact that you would give up your busy lives to come here today and learn and be together is admirable. Your life is unfolding. You're writing it and editing it every day. How your life story is told depends on your willingness to explore passion, power, wisdom, and vision. You know, a lot of people say life's a journey. I say now or never. There is no next time. I want you to go forward and take the next steps. I want you to stop listening to the gremlins in your head. I want you to thank the Mr. Earls who have inspired you to the next level. Go forth and believe in your heart's desire. Thank you. Thank you.